Hey pastels, welcome back to my channel. I typically don't post on Thursdays, but the last video I posted didn't do too well. I also have a ton of content in my phone. At this point, I don't think I'm gonna wait all the way till Sunday just to post everything. I'm just gonna try to post throughout the week, but still keep, Sunday as one of my main days to post. Today we are getting into these medium short almond nails. We're gonna do white French tips with some really cute, unique gems. I usually test out different nail tips that I find on Amazon. So far, these have been one of my favorites. Quality is not too thick, so they're very seamless and they're pretty easy to work with. Show the last video I posted some love, please. I might end up reposting it. I don't know, maybe you guys just don't care too much for Gel X. Maybe acrylic is more fun to watch. Gel X is pretty simple. It's not as, intricate as acrylic application. Let me know below. Do you guys prefer when I do Gel X or just acrylic nails? I'm gonna add the nail tips on and just clip, the little, what is that? I think that's the numbers. I'm gonna clip the numbers off and then file the nails a bit. I typically do file the nails with the e-file, but my client did mention that she wanted the nails just a smidge shorter, so I was using the hand file instead, and then at the same time, making the nails a bit shorter. I'll check back in with you guys when it's time for the acrylic application. Okay, we are now applying acrylic to her right hand. I'm using a size 14 brush. When I first started doing nails, I think my brush size was at least a 12 or maybe a 10. I had the tiniest little brush and I used to wonder why it took so long to do nails. The bigger the brush, the more product you can pick up, of course. Here's just a little nail gem for my beginners. If you do want to pick up the pace, I would say invest in a larger brush. You can start off with maybe like a 12 and then ease your way into a size 14. I do receive comments asking about what kind of acrylic powders I use. I have been making my own acrylic powders since the start. I remember when colored acrylic was a really big thing. Before the girls wanted just an all nude base, we did colored acrylic and it was popular, but now we usually stick to gel art. You do your soft pink base, your soft nude base, and we add some gel art on top. That's kind of the thing right now. But before, I really made my own colored acrylics with pigments. I had different vendors. I would blend my own colors together. It was something I really enjoyed. I never really, turned it into another business as far as selling my own products. But with all of these nude bases that I create myself, I have always thought about it and I want to lean towards that. I just know it's going to take some time and some improvement if this is a product that I want to sell. But yeah, definitely stay tuned for my acrylic line because I know it's on the way. I just need to believe that it's possible and take it seriously because I have too much information and too much, experience with powders and, the ratio and blending to create a perfect color. I'm really great with color theory as well. Like I can look at a color and say, okay, I know what two colors I need to create that color, to make it lighter, to make it darker. But yeah, I'm gonna get out of my own way and give it a shot. I think sometimes we overthink what we can do, and instead of, just taking the chance, we talk ourselves out of it. I don't want to be that person. All right, pastels, I'm gonna let you enjoy the rest of the application. I'll be back when it's time to file the nails. Today we are using Macart 100/180 nail file to get those nails nice and precise. They're not going to be a sharp, stiletto. We're just going to round the tips a bit. We're definitely keeping it almond. One of the biggest tips I could say when filing is to take your time and to not over file. You always want to eyeball the nail and make sure that one side is not too filed compared to the other. You want to make sure both sides are even. But I recently ordered some new nail bits, so stay tuned for those. And instead of having to file the top of the nail with the hand file, I'll be using the nail bits just to smooth out the acrylic and move at a faster pace. After filing, we're going to seal up the cuticles and buff out the nails so they're nice and smooth. I will circle back when it's time for the nail designs. Are getting into these French tips. One of my favorite brands to work with for a nice white French tip is Venalisa. I would say it's pigmented. With French, it always depends on the length of the French. Usually the lower the French, the less gel you probably will need. You might not need a second layer, but I realize when I'm doing like longer length nails, I might need a second coat just so that French could be a little bit more crispy. If you want to make sure the sides of the French are not too thick, I would recommend going in with a cleanup brush just for a more precise and sharp look. If this is your first time coming across my channel and you are loving what you see, hit the subscribe button and make sure to like this video. Definitely hit the thumbs up. This Sunday I am posting a mini vlog, so we are stepping from behind the chair and really, going outside. The beginning will cover some press-on nails that I did for my mini vacation, and the rest of the video is just vibes, frolicking, dilly-dallying, whatever you may call it, and just overall enjoying my Miami staycation. So stay tuned for that. It's a cute little mini vlog. I can't wait for you guys to see it. Let's get through these French tippies. You'll hear back from me when it's time to bedazzle the nails. are some of the charms that I'll be using today. I will drop them in the description below. I'm not sure if I got these on Amazon or at my local nail supply, but I'm sure you can find them on Amazon. I haven't used those orbs in a while. I've had them for a long time. These little gold balls I typically use every now and then. So we're going to start off with just the little star decals right in the center. So I'm just going to go ahead and put those on one by one. Now I did go in and speed it up just a little bit because it was a bit time consuming, you know, adding those orbs one by one. I did try to mix up the color scheme and make sure that each nail kind of had its own thing going on and not all the colors had to be the exact same. I also love when I get to use some of my products that have just been sitting on my shelves for months. These orbs have been with me for a while now and I haven't really touched them since probably 2023 or 2024. I don't really use them as much as I used to. So today we pulled out the orbs and tried something different. I usually just do the nails 2 at a time so they don't move around too much with the gel, flash cure them, and then send them off into the larger, stronger lamp so they can 100% fully cure. I genuinely love how cute and simple this design was. It was doing a lot without doing too much. And one of my favorites was this color right here, that little pink. I could probably do like a full set for myself, maybe with some press-on nails, just the pink and the gold, and maybe not too many pearls for me, but I really do like that pink and gold combo. Now that the nails are fully complete, I did add some glue off camera. I wish I filmed that part. I use my Hurry Up and Dry spray. You can find this at Sally's Beauties or even Amazon. I will link it as well. So basically the spray is to make sure the glue is fully dry. I like to use that spray because if the glue isn't dry, it messes up the top coat. It makes it all lumpy and clumpy. So having the glue fully dry around the gems really allows me to work with my top coat so it's nice and a smooth finish. I've heard that D&D has the best top coat. 6 years in the nail game, I still haven't even purchased a D&D top coat because I'm a Beetles girl. I've been using Beetles for a while. It's never steered me wrong. It's pretty shiny. Even when my clients come back with their nails, don't have too many issues with peeling, and the nails still do look shiny when I see them. But I want to test that theory. So next time I go to my local nail supply, I will definitely pick up a D&D top coat, gel top coat of course, just to see if this is true, if what the girls are saying is true. Some of my favorite nail techs, they use D&D, so maybe they might be onto something. And to the nail techs watching, what kind of top coat do you think is one of the holy grails, one of the top tier best top coats you've ever used, and which top coat would you recommend? Thank you, pastels, for watching this video. Make sure to hit the thumbs up If this is your first time coming across my channel, definitely make sure to hit that subscribe button. Check out my last video with the Gel X Classy Simple Nails, and stay tuned for my next video, which will premiere this Sunday. I'll see you soon.